Garry's Mod, or Gmod if you're in a hurry. If you're into computer games and spend time on the internet, you might have played it. And if you haven't played it, you've definitely seen it.
Freeze monkey! Yeah! Go! Yes! Yeah!
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to Gmod with Five Nights at Freddy's.
You're dead to be not dead. Pow! You are dead. I'm dead.
Because Garry's Mod is that influential. It's a game that's definitely been influential on me, and millions of other people too. With Garry's Mod's 16th birthday coming up tomorrow, and a sequel on the horizon, I think it's only fair to talk about the huge influence it's had. Even though the original mod was released 16 years ago, very little about it seems to have changed. The most popular game modes like Trouble in Terrorist Town, Prop Hunt, Dark RP, they're all a decade old or older. If you boot up a single player game, sure there's some more tools to play with and a fancier UI, but it's still just spawning props, watching NPCs murder each other, building weird stuff, making Mossman and G-Man have sex. In a world where games get showered with updates and new seasons, you'd think a game where the developers have done very little to change things would be a disappointment. But personally, I couldn't be happier that's the way things are. And today, I'm going to talk about why that is. Gmod is such a diverse game that I don't think I'll be able to speak for everybody's experiences. But I think one thing everyone can agree on is that the reason this hardly updated, 16-year-old game still thrives is because it's beautiful in its simplicity. I struggled with what to name this video for a while, until I remembered the name of the freaking game is called Garry's Mod. There's no competition for world's most creative title going on here, so I figured an equally straightforward title would be fitting. And it made me think about how the game itself really lives up to the simplicity of its name. The reason we love Gmod is it's a blank canvas. If you disable all your add-ons, all 500 of them in my case, and boot up Gmod, there isn't much to it. You can definitely keep yourself entertained for a while, and I'm sure a lot of people have, but I would have almost definitely put the game down a long time ago if it wasn't for all the user-created content. You could spend a whole lifetime checking out all the different add-ons, dupes, and saves. As of me writing this, there are 1.5 million player submissions to the workshop. Now, that's not to say they're all good, but there are countless great player models to be, weapons to use, vehicles to drive, tools to create with, maps to explore, or NPCs to battle. And because of the sheer diversity of all this content, everyone's gonna have a different experience. You can ride somebody's roller coaster as a sentient bag of Doritos. You can make the guys from TF2 fight a giant robot from Fallout. Some add-ons actually give you the tools to make your own stop-motion films with the Gmod models. There are a surprising number of adventure map add-ons, user-created levels where you solve puzzles, fight enemies, or get jump-scared by shitty JPEGs of Jeff the Killer. I could go on all day, and I'm sure any Gmod veterans watching would agree that this is far from the craziest stuff you can do. But my point is, your imagination is the limit, and if there's something you can imagine that's not on the workshop, you can make it. Garry's Mod leaves it all up to the players, and I love it. But add-ons are not the only outlet of user-created content that Gmod allows. If you take a look at the artwork section of Gmod on Steam, the Gmod subreddit, or even the Gmod main menu, artwork is a big part of the community. I think the first thing I did when I got Gmod was took some Counter-Strike characters and made a crappy screenshot of it. This screenshot is a total piece of crap though. I mean, I'm pretty sure these guys aren't even touching the floor, and this guy's about to shoot his friend.
Nani?
Anyways, there was something just so cool about being able to imagine any kind of scene and then build what I was thinking of. I was pretty addicted to Lego back in the day, so that probably explains it. But the artwork that people make with Gmod never ceases to impress me. Some of it looks like real pictures. There's historical scenes, realistic battles, stuff from fictional universes, and some artwork which is just dumb fun. Most of these screenshots couldn't be made if it wasn't for the models, weapons, maps, all from the workshop. The player-created content feeds back into itself. And it really lowers the barrier of entry for people who want to make 3D artwork. You don't need some fancy software like SFM or Blender. This is a screenshot I just made right here, recreating the one I made 6 years ago. I think it looks a little better. Of course, if we're talking about Gmod's player-created content, I couldn't not mention the YouTube videos. I mean, you're watching one right now. If you've watched my channel before, you know that Garry's Mod videos are, kind of, a big part of my channel. This is going to be a pretty big segment, because I can't talk about why I love Gmod or why it's so popular without talking about the YouTube content around it.
Half-Life, full of life, consequences.
Firstly, you have the machinimas. Between about 2008 and 2011, Gmod had its first wave of mainstream fame with the machinima scene. You had DasBoSchitt's Gmod Idiot Box, with all sorts of Valve characters doing funny stuff or recreating the memes of the day.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC. Whoa, what exactly do you mean by better?
By better, I mean making a website or photo book is easy for me, and for you, it's not.
You had Kitty0706, a legend of machinima, and he had comedy-focused stuff that every 12-year-old was wondering about, like what would it be like if the heavy went bowling or took a driving test. I think part of why people love these machinimas is they got to see their favorite characters that they'd spent hours playing with in a more lighthearted context, just getting up to wacky stuff. He also had his own original Elliot Goes to School series, which, even though I was too young to watch at the time, I'm sure plenty of people loved relating to and laughing with after their own long days of school. And then of course you had Icton, whose Half-Life Full Life Consequences series, taking the piss out of some foreign guy's crappy Half-Life fanfiction, will put a smile on my face until the day I die.
Zombie ghosts, leave this place. And the zombie ghost said, but this is our house. And John Freeman felt sorry for them because they couldn't live there anymore because they were zombie ghosts. So he blew up the house and killed the zombie ghost.
On the more serious side of things, machinimas like War of the Servers were like entire freaking movies with a proper story and action scenes. If the demand is there, I might even make a whole separate video on these machinimas, because there's just so much to talk about and so many great machinima makers out there even today. But there's a whole other aspect to Gmod YouTube content that is worthy of a mention, and probably impacted me more than the machinimas.
Hello and welcome to the Yogscast, Garry's mod.
If machinimas popularized Gmod, Let's Plays supersized it. As a kid, I had no idea what the hell Garry's mod was until I watched the Yogscast play Gmod and just screw around on GM Flatgrass. I love the atmosphere they had of just friends messing around and being amazed at all the stupid dupes. It's kind of the way I felt later on when I played for the first time.
Oh my god! Look at it! Look at this!
Either way, after watching Garry's mod on YouTube, I don't think there was anything 12-year-old me wanted more than to own it and play for myself. I can't say for certain, but I definitely think all these big YouTubers playing Gmod played a pretty big part in his popularity. If you take a look at the Google Trends page for Garry's mod, you can see his popularity really shot up in 2013 and reached its peak in 2014. That was the same year I picked up Gmod. Around this time you had PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Venturian Tail, the Yogscast, Vanos, all playing Gmod and ranking in views sometimes in the tens of millions. So you had millions of people, all seeing how much fun their favorite YouTubers were having with Gmod. And it gave the game popularity like it never had before. After YouTube introduced me to Garry's mod, the novelty of the usual game modes big YouTubers tended to play, like Sandbox, started to wear off for me. And then around 2015, I watched a guy named Zuthar13 messing with some Gmod roleplayers, and after that, there was no hope for me.
One of the users decided to open a pizzeria chain on an online server, but as later revealed, alternatively from the usual ingredients, they also plan to use newborn babies as the main ingredient instead.
If you look at the server browser for Gmod multiplayer, love him or hate him, roleplay game modes are utterly dominant. Now, everybody strap in because this might be where the video gets a little controversial. I've probably leaned more towards what some people might call a minge in Gmod RP, in that at times I've taken the rules less as rules and more as suggestions. Hey guys, it's me, Ninja from Fortnite.
Oh my god.
Yo, Ninja!
I mentioned Zuthar at the start of this segment, and his videos introducing me to Gmod RP are probably the reason that's the way I am. I would laugh my ass off at his videos, where there'd be all these people taking themselves so seriously, and 12-year-old admins going on power trips, and he would just be screwing with them.
Guys, there's an alien drone upstairs. I suggest we take it out with
Shut up, my god.
I suggest we take it out with Elite Force. Who's with me on this expedition?
Yeah, whatever, Mr. Halo Commander.
My name's Lieutenant Jones. You're thinking of...
Now, having heard all that, you might think that I totally hate Gmod RP and all the people who play it seriously. Which is not at all the message I want to get across here. Of the thousands of hours I've sunk into this game, most of them were probably on RP servers. Even though the admins and rules can be overbearing, I guess what I'm trying to say is I love the chaotic element of Gmod RP. It's like a cross-section of the whole internet, which, granted, can make it pretty cancerous at times. But at other times, it's great because you get to talk to all these random people from all over the world. Not only that, but sometimes you end up making these hilarious stories that you just couldn't make up otherwise. Me and a guy in 7 Years War RP became convinced we were living inside a simulation and started a rebellion. I met a guy in a Russian server who taught me a few Russian words, and we went on a killing spree chanting Vladimir Putin is great in Russian. Some British guy and this other kid I met on Fallout RP decided to form a band and sang to the people of the wasteland about gay cowboys.
Now this is a song about a gay cowboy who was really gay because he used to have a woman, but then she got... What?
Get out of here.
My point is, even though stuff like this isn't always in line with the rules of serious RP, it feels more in the spirit of Garry's Mod, which doesn't give you a set of rules, but just encourages you to have fun. Just like the base game is a blank canvas for your ideas and creations, Gmod RP is a blank canvas for these crazy stories, just waiting to be told with people you've never even met. Gmod is not this AAA experience. It's a game that ended up being called Garry's Mod on accident, because Garry wasn't expecting it to be this big thing. But this simplicity makes the game so much better. It allows the community to mold the game into whatever they want it to be. The community has been a massive part of making Garry's Mod the game it is today. It's hard to think of Garry's Mod without Dark RP, Trouble in Terrorist Town, GM Big City, RP Downtown, hell, even all those Five Nights at Freddy's add-ons. Which is why I wanted to give back to the community a little. When this goes out, there's a map I made that I'm planning to upload to the workshop. I tried to add everything I love about Gmod. There's an arena for NPC battles, a racetrack and a garage for vehicles, an obstacle course out of Death Run, and some houses you might see on Dark RP. I can't lie to you guys, I've never made a map in any game before, so it kinda sucks. But the community has done so much for this game, and I've gotten so many hours of fun out of content made by Gmod's players that I felt it was only fair to pay it forward, even if only a little. So I highly encourage all of you to give something back to the community, if you haven't already. You don't have to design an intricate map, but maybe just upload that car dupe, or that crappy ragdoll scene, or that Let's Play video you've been working on. Even just being a part of somebody's crazy story on a multiplayer server. It all helps to make this game what it is. Because Garry's Mod is one of a kind. I've said Gmod is a lot of things in this video. It's friends having dumb fun, it's a sandbox to test out contraptions and add-ons, it's a tool to let anyone make movies or artwork, it's a vessel for these weird stories. Really, it can be anything, depending on the player. It's only through its simplicity that Garry's Mod makes this all possible. Gmod gives us the base and then lets all the players have fun in their own unique and weird ways. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It wouldn't be my favorite game of all time without all of you guys. And that's why Gmod is beautiful in its simplicity. If you made it this far into the video, thanks for watching and hearing me out. Seeing as how Gmod is such a huge game with 16 years of history now, I'm sure I only scratched the surface. But still, I hope I touched at least a little on what makes Gmod such a great game. And if you really did enjoy my nonsensical ramblings, think about sticking around and subscribing. If you happen to be into Gmod content, that's mostly what I make on this channel, and I'm pretty new to the whole video essay thing, but depending on the reception this gets, I might even make more in the future. Either way, thanks again for hearing me out, and I will see you when I see you.